All right, welcome back to Mohawk-Garage. It has been a long and dreary winter. So cold, snow, getting dark early. Man, winter sucks. I did not get nothing done on this truck. I did finally get around to getting some work done, but it was at night, or it was just so crappy, or I was working 5 minutes at a time and I did not have time to make the videos. So I want to show you guys where I'm at right now. I did get my knuckles all welded up. Hopefully I'll make that in this video. And I did get the steering sorted out. And I did it in a unique way that nobody ever mentioned doing it online. But I think it's going to work. So, yeah, I'll show you what I did, and we're going to see if it works. This is part 3 of my build on Becky, my 95 Tahoe, on which I'm doing this solid axle swap. So, after the last video, I was waiting on these custom U-bolts, which I got ordered. I can't believe it. And I even measured it pretty close to right. So, all I got to do is a little bit more clearancing on the axle housing, and then I will be mounting it to the springs, and then we'll see what else it's going to take. So, the steering does not look like it's going to be awesome, but I may go hydro steer on it. We'll see. If it's not compatible at all, then we'll have to explore other options. So, here we go. Okay, we're learning. We're adjusting here. I need to take that little chunk off right there because my leaf spring is all the way inboard, which I knew. And I didn't factor in the fact that this one was going to be out here. So, I'm going to pull this U-bolt out, do some cutting and grinding right here. More cutting and grinding. Here we go. Because these U-bolts are wider than the standard ones, and I haven't talked about this before, but I'm actually flipping the U-bolts from what the stock location was, where the bolts were pointing down, and the spring and the U-bolts went over the springs instead. So now I've got the U-bolts going up, so I got a little more clearance underneath the truck, and I'm gonna have the plate on top. But like I said, the U-bolts are a little bit wider with this cast area, so I am using my carbide bit to waller these holes out a little bit just to gain the clearance that I need. Sparkly. Okay, so after more cutting and grinding, I notched the inside of the old spring pad. Forgot about that little calculation as well. And on this side, the U-bolts are standard size, but like I said, these U-bolts used to go from here around the spring and hook to the bottom, but I'm misusing these plates to do what I want with them. And on the other side, I had to waller the outside so that the bigger U-bolts could go in there. This side, they're actually smaller, so I've got to waller the inside of the hole out. So here we go, more wallering. All right, so after months of planning and buying parts and spending money and research and grinding and cutting and grinding and buying more parts and buying the wrong parts, and here we are. Good to show you this side. This one bolted together as it should. Got that all worked out. Mounted up. You can see here. No more jack stands under the axle. And here's the driver's side that I had to put the most work into. I got the U-bolts all straightened out there. Everything is good. Now, the next real issue to deal with is steering. And I thought, very stupidly, that I would be able to hook the drag link from the new axle to the center link for the old axle. Well, the old steering setup. That's not going to work. There's a big cross member in the way, and the steering, as you can see from here, goes underneath of the spring. So that's going to cause an issue. So next solution is a high steer conversion kit. There is talk about some that you can have machined into your knuckles, which I expect is going to cost hundreds of dollars and a lot of work, including separating these ball joints that I've been trying to avoid the whole time. Or there's a weld-on kit that is a lot cheaper and I can weld, so probably going to do that. Looks like 150 bucks or so, and 4 to 6 hours of welding. So that'll probably be the next step. Also going to be quite a challenge to get the lower shock mount down here. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But you'll probably find out in this video. This is a Dana 60 front axle out of a 2002 Ford Super Duty F250. Had the gas engine in it. But it was in good shape when I got it. All the brakes were new, calipers were new. It's been sitting around for a couple of years, so everything's crusty. You see my problem here is this is the steering center link here, and this is supposed to go up to the steering box. Well, it can't go up that high. So what I need to do is relocate this up to about yay high so that the steering can go above the leaf spring. So, project number 3, steering. Off we go. Alright, so we're going to start by pulling these knuckles apart here. I'm going to pull the caliper off, pull these rotors off and maybe resurface them, pull the hub apart so that I can preheat this whole knuckle to 400 degrees before welding on the new high steer adapters. So that's going to be an interesting process, welding cast iron to steel. So I'll have an expert coming in for that. Can't wait till you meet Billy. So here we go. Pro tip number 192. Whenever you're going to do your own brakes, and you're going to pull your pads out, before you do so, take a screwdriver, go between the caliper and the pad, and pry on that booger till your screwdriver snaps off, or until the caliper compresses and slides right off. Just like just like this.
The one I have is the first one. Okay. The second one only has 2 bits out right now. Oh. At the end of it said coming soon. Oh, okay.
Okay, after a bunch of persuasion, I gently removed the stock vacuum locking assembly so that I can get back here to this little snap ring, unsnap the axle so I can pull the bearing off. That was a battle, but I won. Okay, so I got the hub removed and got the bolts loosened up on the back. Now it's just time for some gentle persuasion. Actually did come off gently. After the fight I got out of the that other thing, I thought for sure this was gonna be a bitch. I left one nut on there for safety. Idiot. Now the safety nut's undone. Slides right off, no problem. Have to remember to carry an extra one of these in my spares box. Okay, so got the hub bearing off of there. Now I just ought to pop the axle out. I can see this seal in the back is already bad, so I'm just gonna push it on out. Pop it on out of there. No problem. No big deal. Work it on out of there. There we go. You're moving a little bit. There we go. Let's see if this is. Alright, the axle come out. Dana 50 axle, not Dana 60. Judging by the inner size of the axle, which is probably where it's gonna break at. I have to tackle the steering components of this swap. What I got was a R-Tech crossover steering kit. I got their weld-on brackets for the knuckles as well as their crossover steering kit. It was about $700 altogether, but money well spent. So I am working on it inside because right now, as you can see, it is a blizzard going on out there. I wasn't able to get anybody to come over here and with a 220 welder and actually weld the knuckles up while it was on the truck. That was a big problem. I've been waiting on months, people not coming through like they said they would. And so now I'm going to do this with my 110. So I bought a propane torch and I'm going to put lots of preheat into it, and I'm going to do this the wrong way, but I got to get it done, and hopefully I don't have to redo it later, and hopefully it all holds together, but we're going to find out. Here we go. All right, so here's what I'm working with. The kit came like this. I bolted everything together here just to get it all mocked up and tight. Bolt that plate in right there, and then there's a little notch right here. It was clearly marked. It must be for a couple of different vehicles. I ended up having to clearance that area right there a little bit, get everything nice and tight down to the knuckle, and yeah, prepared the knuckle with a flap wheel, heavy grinding disc on a little bit. Got everything ready to go. Everything slides on there nice. Alright, so here's where I'm at. Get ready to take this first step here. Like I said, I made that little bevel there and got everything to tuck down pretty good on the knuckle here. You can see that there's a gap here, and I can see that there's some other places that fitment could be better, but I believe with all of these heim joints in here and the high misalignment and everything, I think it's going to work out fine. Stay tuned to find out. I was trying to avoid removing the knuckles from the car just because I didn't want to deal with these ball joints, but I'm really glad that I did because these uppers were very bad, both of them. So got a new kit from Amazon. It was like 50 bucks for all of them. So gonna put those in before reinstall. Well, propane seems to work, but it's only getting up to about 500 degrees, which probably be fine, but MAP gas would have been a better idea. Okay, as I noted before, the upper ball joints on these things are shot. So I'm going to go ahead and use my snap-on ball joint press. I think it's called BJP1 Master Kit. This thing is awesome. I have had it for several years. Honestly, I use it more for pushing bushings out of control arms than I do ball joints. I don't do as many ball joints, but man, this thing is awesome. What really sold me on it is the way that the adapters all lock together. They have little locking rings on the inside. If you've ever used a cheaper kit, you'll know that man, those things fall all over the place when you're trying to use them. So what I'm going to do is, I already got it set up. I'm going to push the bottom ball joint out. Then I'm going to push the top ball joint out, push the top ball joint in, and the bottom one back in. And you'll see why while I'm doing it. The way this tool works, it's going to be a breeze. No problem. Okay, if you've ever pressed anything, you know it's always really sketchy. So with this one, you got to put one adapter inside of the knuckle to get behind the ball joint. One adapter on the outside. Run that down, get it a little secure. Okay. Make sure that you all the way on the outside of the ball joint. You don't want to be on the edge of it while you're trying to press it out. End up fighting you hard. Alright. Sure the ball joint's lined up in the center with the adapter. There's a few ways this can go bad, but overall it works really good. So now we just should just push right on out of there. But yeah, easy peasy mac and cheesy. Alright, so I made a great video of pressing that other one out of there really quick and easily but I ran out of storage space on my camera. So here we are doing the upper ball joints. It actually takes the same adapters to remove it. And as I was saying earlier, the tool needs to go through the hole for the lower ball joint so that it can reach the upper ball joint. That's the special key on this one here. So got that all set up. Should just push right on out of there. Just like butter. Ugh. One thing I've ever financed off the Snap-on truck, and I love it. Make sure you find the right adapter to get all the way down on the flange here when you're pressing. You don't want one that's round on the outside or on the inside here, or you'll mess up the sealing surface. Alright, and the process is pretty much the same for installing the ball joints. Find the right adapter, make sure it goes all the way through, right there. Up. I always take the rubber boots off of the ball joints so that they don't get nicked while you're pressing this stuff together. Oftentimes you won't see it until long after it's done. Like when you go to install it, fill it up with grease, and then grease spews everywhere. That's the best. Alright, now I got to set up on the lower ball joint here. Now this one you need to press it all the way through so you can get the snap ring on the back of it. The uppers have a provision for the snap ring, but they don't use them on these particular knuckles. So here we go. Locate the correct snap ring pliers. Get set down in that groove. Bada boom, bada. All right, before it gets dark here at 6:30, let me run you through what I did. I welded on the R-Tech high steer knuckles, and then I was having some issues with placement of the drag link, the steering link here. So I relocated up to this hole here, and I bought a spacer to add the clearance that I need for my leaf springs. And then I got the center link. I welded the R-Tech knuckle onto this side. Didn't really have to, but I went ahead and did that anyway. And then I used the factory IFS center link, which you can see up through here with the idler over there, pitman here, original steering box. And I just drilled it out for the 3/4 bolt and just bolt the Heim joint right there. Obviously that's going to be bolted together when it's done. So I've cycled this through a few times during the mock-up process and made sure everything worked and cycled good, and it seems like it's going to work. So I'll be able to use the stock center link as kind of its own drop pitman, I guess you'd call it. And then I can use the steering stabilizer, the stock steering stabilizer that was there, and it could work out perfectly. So if you're looking to do this swap, I think the other option was to change to a 2-wheel drive steering box and get a drop pitman arm. But I kind of raised my steering. I think it's going to work out really good. I'm guessing we're going to find out eventually. I'm trying to get this thing buttoned up today so I can take it for a test drive. But I got to get to work. I'm going to be working out here in the dark, so you're not going to get to see none of it. But maybe you'll see the finished product. it's official. She runs and drives. So the turning radius is not all that great to the left for some reason, but it will actually rub the wheels turning to the right, and the steering wheel's off by 90 degrees. Both of those things don't matter to me right now. I just needed to make it capable of getting on the transport truck to head out to Nevada. Starting a new chapter out there in Las Vegas. We'll be living in Pahrump, but I'll actually have a garage for Mohawk-Garage. So things are going to change. We're going to do more projects. We're going to do more cool stuff and a lot more trail riding in the desert. I'm going to be right next to Wheeler Pass, which is 26-mile journey through mountains and such. That should be really cool. We'll run that and yeah, continue on doing more stuff outside. Let's get outside and do stuff. So here we go. I'm gonna do a little walk around, final walk around, and show you what I got, and we're gonna close this chapter for right now. Okay, here she is, Becky, my 95 Tahoe that I just finished the solid axle swap on. Well, not really finished. Let's not call it finished. Slapped this solid axle swap on here, crossover steering. Also put the 1-ton axles from 02 F250, front and rear. Got that hooked up, 24-inch rims, 40-inch tires. Ain't got the shocks hooked up back here yet, but she's a rare breed. 4-speed manual. Got the big old dump truck shifter in there. I got the rest of my suspension goodies all tucked in the back here. I got some shock mounts, shock hoops. She's going to be extra capable. Got the Lincoln locker in the rear. Maybe I'll put a locker in the front if necessary here soon, but stay tuned. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because things are about to get spicy out here in the desert. So you don't want to miss out on that. And thanks for watching.